Shedeur Sanders made an amazing commercial deal with Gatorade as well, and he sent a very good message at the end of the video. Y'all know what's next. I'm about to get in the gym and get right. Legendary.
Shedeur Sanders just pulled up to Supercross, and by the time the camera stopped rolling, two different stories were trending at the same time. One, Shador sitting down for a brand new Gatorade commercial shoot. Two, Browns offensive lineman Dawand Jones showing up right there next to him. Two separate storylines, one night, and both of them matter a lot more than a highlight reel from a racetrack. Because when you put Shedor's business moves next to his protection on the field, you start to see exactly what this offseason is really about. Let's start with what actually happened, because there's a lot of noise out there and not a lot of people slowing down to explain it right. Shedeur Sanders showed up at Supercross, and he wasn't just there to watch the race. He was there filming a full commercial with Gatorade, one of the biggest sports brands on the planet, and he brought company. Browns offensive lineman Dawand Jones was right there with him. Now on the surface, that might look like two guys hanging out at a motorsports event on a random weekend, but when you zoom out, this is bigger than that. Shedeur Sanders already broke the all-time NFLPA group licensing record as a rookie, pulling in $17.7 million. That number beat Tom Brady's rookie mark, and it more than doubled Patrick Mahomes. He's Nike's first ever college football NIL athlete. He's a top 5 jersey seller in the entire league. And he's the face that's driving excitement for the Browns' new stadium set to open in 2029. So when a brand as big as Gatorade puts him in front of a camera, that's not filler content. That's a company betting on Shedeur Sanders as a long-term face of their brand, on top of everything else he's already building with Nike. And that's exactly why Dawand Jones showing up matters as much as the commercial itself. There's been chatter all offseason about the Browns needing more help at left tackle. Dawand Jones is a veteran, an Ohio State alum, and someone who's been putting in extra work according to people around the building. When you're starting quarterback and one of your offensive linemen are showing up to the same event, off the field, on their own time, that's the kind of thing that tells you where the locker room's head is heading into the season. It's not about hype videos. It's about chemistry that starts before a single snap is taken in September. So you've got a business deal on one side and a protection question on the other, and somehow they collided at the same event on the same night. That's the story everybody's talking about right now, and it's worth breaking down piece by piece.
So once again, as I said before, Shedeur Sanders showed up to Supercross along with his offensive lineman, Dawand Jones. Now, there is word out there that the Browns need a left tackle, but Dawand Jones been putting in extra work, man, so he could definitely be the potential starter considering him being a veteran. Along with Gatorade, Shedeur Sanders made an amazing commercial deal with Gatorade as well, and he sent a very good message at the end of the video. I'm gonna play all video clips so you guys can see exactly.
Here's the reality check nobody's talking about. This isn't a coincidence. This is two players who know exactly what's riding on this season showing up locked in, together. Let's talk about Dawand Jones for a second, because he's not just a random name attached to this story. He's an Ohio State alumni, which already puts him in a certain category when it comes to how these offensive linemen get developed. That program doesn't just churn out guys who can hold their own. It churns out guys who understand technique, who understand pass protection schemes at a level that translates fast to the NFL. And right now, the Browns have a real conversation happening at left tackle. That's not a secret. That's been out there all offseason. Whoever wins that job isn't just protecting whichever quarterback ends up starting. They're protecting the entire investment the Browns have made this offseason, both in Deshaun Watson and in Shedeur Sanders. Remember, Watson is still working back from 2 torn Achilles that kept him out all of 2025. Shedeur is the guy who stepped in at halftime of that Baltimore game in Week 11 last year after, and he never gave that job back the rest of the season. So when a veteran lineman like Dawand Jones is putting in extra work, according to people close to the situation, that's not just good for whoever's behind center in September, it's good for the whole offense. A line that trusts its personnel, that's building continuity in the offseason instead of scrambling for answers in training camp, gives whoever's under center a real shot to operate with confidence. And that's where this Supercross appearance actually connects back to the bigger picture. This wasn't Shedeur off by himself doing a solo brand activation. This was Shedeur and one of the guys who could be protecting him this season in the same place at the same time outside of team facilities. You don't have to read too much into body language or manufactured drama to see what that says. It says these two are building something before the pads even come on. Now, is Dawand Jones guaranteed the starting left tackle job because he showed up to one event with Shedeur? No, and nobody credible is claiming that. The Browns coaching staff, according to reporting out of Cleveland, is still working through a real competition at multiple spots on this roster, not just quarterback. But what this moment does show is where the relationships are forming early. And in a league where continuity along the offensive line can be the difference between a breakout season and a setback, that matters more than most fans realize.
All right, Cleveland, I want you to get loud. This is the Grand Marshal. He is on the offensive line for your Cleveland Browns. He's an alumni of Ohio State and their storied football program, the Grand Marshal, Dawand Jones. You know what to do. Get these guys fired up, racing style. Here we go, Brownies. Here we go. Here we go, Brownies. Here we go.
Notice what just happened there. Dawand Jones wasn't just tagging along. He was announced as the Grand Marshal in front of a packed crowd. That's a spotlight moment, and he showed up for it, right alongside his quarterback. Now, let's get into the Gatorade side of this, because that deal is a bigger deal than a lot of people are giving it credit for. From the footage, you can see the full production behind this. Wardrobe checks, the shorts, the socks, figuring out whether to go with sneakers or keep it clean for the shot. Then moving into socials, stills, inside shots, outside shots, before finally getting to the actual spot. That's not a quick photo op. That's a full-day commercial shoot, the kind of production budget and planning that a brand only commits to when they're serious about the athlete they're putting in front of the camera. And when you connect that to everything else Shedeur has already built off the field, the picture gets even bigger. This is a guy who broke the all-time NFL merchandise record as a rookie. He's the reason the Browns are marketing their new stadium opening in 2029 around his presence. He's the athlete who revived his father Deion's Air DT Max sneaker line with Nike, something Shedeur has called a family business move, not just a paycheck. Now you can add Gatorade to that list, one of the most recognizable sports nutrition brands in the world, choosing to build content specifically around him during OTAs and camp season. Here's why that timing matters. Brands don't typically greenlight a full commercial shoot with an athlete who isn't locked in as the guy their marketing team wants front and center. Gatorade isn't just slapping Shedeur's face on a bottle for one campaign and moving on. This is the kind of shoot that produces footage brands use across social, across broadcast, across in-store displays for months. That's a long-term bet, not a one-off check. And Shedeur himself gave you the clearest signal about where his head is at the second the camera stopped rolling. After wrapping the shoot, he didn't celebrate, he didn't pose for extra content, he looked at the people around him and said the gym was next. That's the mindset of a guy who understands that commercial success means nothing if the play on the field doesn't back it up. He's not treating Gatorade like a victory lap. He's treating it like one piece of a much bigger plan heading into the 2026 season. So when people ask why this Supercross appearance is getting so much attention, that's your answer. It's not because a quarterback showed up at a race. It's because a quarterback who's already rewriting rookie commercial records added another major brand to his resume, brought a key piece of his offensive line with him, and then turned around and said the real work starts now.
How'd I do? I do all right? Thank you. Any of the shorts if you want to do the long underneath, and then any of the socks. Ready, please, sir. If you prefer to be in sneakers, you can, but I think it's more of a clean shot.
So what's the first thing we're about to do now?
Socials, stills, inside, outside, and then we'll move to the spot. Yeah, and then you need time to warm up and stuff. I'm assuming you did. Yeah. Because that seems heavy, like wearing the spot, like I still want to see the change.
Compare that to a lot of rookies who get one quick photo shoot and call it a day. Shedeur is out here running a full production schedule like a veteran who's already done this 100 times. Let's zoom out one more time, because this Supercross moment isn't happening in a vacuum. It's happening right in the middle of a real quarterback competition in Cleveland, one that multiple national reporters have described as the truest open competition in the entire NFL right now. You've got Deshaun Watson, who's fully guaranteed $230 million, working his way back from 2 Achilles tears that wiped out his entire 2025 season. You've got Shedeur Sanders, who stepped in during Week 11 last year and finished the season showing exactly why the Browns believe in him. And you've got Dillon Gabriel still in that quarterback room as well. According to reporting out of Cleveland, the plan is a genuine 2-man competition running through the bulk of training camp, decided by how each guy performs across the 3 preseason games. That's not a formality, that's a real battle, and everything Shedeur does this offseason, on the field and off it, is happening under that spotlight. So when you see him out here landing a major Gatorade deal, bringing Dawand Jones along with him, and then turning around and saying the gym is next, that's not random content for engagement. That's a guy who understands the assignment. He knows the business side of his career is already ahead of schedule. The commercial record, the Nike deal, the jersey sales, all of that is locked in. What's not locked in yet is the starting job for 2026, and that's the one thing money and marketing can't buy. That's why this moment hits different than a normal off-season appearance. It's Shedeur showing Browns fans that he's not satisfied just because the business side is booming. It's Dawand Jones showing up not as a random teammate, but as someone who's clearly building real chemistry with the guy who might be handing him the ball this fall. And it's a brand like Gatorade putting real production dollars behind an athlete who still has to go win a job this summer. Put all of that together, and you get a much clearer picture of where Shedeur Sanders actually stands heading into 2026. He's got the brand deals, he's got a lineman putting in extra work right alongside him, and according to his own words, the second the cameras stop rolling, he's got the gym waiting on him next. That's the full story behind this Supercross appearance, and it's a lot bigger than a highlight clip.
Just finished Gatorade shoot. About to go get the grind on. About to get that lift in. Big boy, big muscles. Yes, sir. Appreciate it. Legendary.
Awesome footage right there of Shedeur Sanders. And one of the things that I loved after shooting that video with Gatorade, he said, y'all know what's next. I'm about to get in the gym and get right.
That right there tells you everything. A brand new Gatorade deal in the bag, and the very next sentence out of his mouth is about getting back in the gym. That's not a guy who thinks the job is won. So let's recap exactly what went down. Shedeur Sanders showed up at Supercross for a full Gatorade commercial shoot, the kind of production that only happens when a brand is genuinely investing in an athlete long-term. That deal lands right on top of everything else Shedeur's already built off the field. The record-breaking rookie commercial numbers, the Nike partnership, the jersey sales, all of it stacking up before he's even played a full NFL season. At the same time, Dawand Jones, a veteran Ohio State product who's been putting in extra work according to people around the team, showed up right alongside him, even getting announced to the crowd as the event's grand marshal. That's not a coincidence in a season where the Browns are still working through real questions at left tackle. And through all of it, Shedeur's own words told you where his focus actually is. The second that shoot wrapped, he wasn't talking about the deal. He was talking about getting back in the gym. That's the mindset of someone who understands he's still got to win a real quarterback competition against Deshaun Watson this summer, one that's being decided across 3 preseason games according to reporting out of Cleveland. Business is booming for Shedeur Sanders, but this Supercross appearance made one thing very clear. He's not letting the brand deals distract him from the job that's still up for grabs. So here's the real question heading into camp. Is this Gatorade deal and this Supercross appearance just Shedeur building his brand while the real competition plays out on the field? Or is this exactly the kind of quiet confidence you see from a guy who already knows he's about to lock down that starting job for good? Drop it in the comments. Do you think Shedeur Sanders is focused purely on winning the job? Or do you think the business side is starting to run right alongside it? Let me know down below. Make sure you're subscribed and you've got that notification bell turned on, because we are going to be tracking every single update out of Cleveland leading into the 2026 season, including how this quarterback competition plays out. Smash like and subscribe.